we get told all this stuff on the news, and how much of it is true and how much of it's not true, it's so hard to filter because it's being supported by powers that we don't understand, that we don't know. I just see people killing each other for no reason.
Hello, Vishrant.
Right, so you said something the other day which blew my mind, because you were in the military for 10 years, right? 10 years? And you said you don't like conflict.
No.
And I think you served in the Middle East as well.
Yeah, my sense of justice and retribution for 9/11 was greater than my dislike of conflict.
Oh, wow. I understand now. That explains something to me. Right, I understand. Yeah. There's no point getting angry. Get even.
Yeah, and also, yeah, my sense of protecting the nation and all that, yeah.
Patriotism. Yeah, patriotism is promoted by the government because it allows it to have an army. Without patriotism, it's very hard to raise an army. And in America, they're very patriotic. They are here too, in Australia. Very patriotic. It's interesting when you look at it because of the amount of brainwashing that goes into it. But you have to look at it from a point of view of non-judgment so you can really see it. After I say something like that, I usually, try and say, God bless America.
Yeah.
Most countries do it. They create patriotism, and which creates separation, in fact, us and them, which is not a real good thing to do. Because there is only us, really. In reality, there's only us. There is no us and them. But people create this us and them, and all of a sudden you have wars.
Silly.
Yeah, it is. It's like us is pretty good because assalamu alaikum. The answer to that is alaikum assalam. I witnessed the Gulf Wars on television. I witnessed the start of them, and God, it was full on, man, watching that. But I had I had quite a bit of distance from it because I'd gone through the whole Vietnam thing as a conscientious objector, not for the reason that I couldn't see the point why we were there. I could not understand what we were doing in Vietnam. It just didn't make sense to me. I didn't have a problem with fighting. I actually tried to join the Air Force, but I couldn't see the point of Vietnam. It just didn't make sense to me that the communists were coming down to take over Australia. This is what we were led to believe. It was just absolute bullshit. And so I was in school when they had the moratoriums against the Vietnam War in Australia. And I decided that I would actually join the moratorium and march in the moratorium. And I was informed by the headmaster of the school I was at that if I did that, I'd be expelled immediately. And so, needless to say, I did it, and I didn't get expelled. It wasn't because I wasn't supporting the military. It was because I wasn't supporting our government in going to a country and killing a heap of people for no reason. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Vietnam to me just seems stupid. It didn't, and not only that, the war was actually lost. Ho Chi Minh won, and communism didn't spread throughout the world through Vietnam. So, you know, bullshit, bullshit, and more bullshit. And I think something like 50,000 American troops died in Vietnam. 590 Australians died in Vietnam, I think. I can't remember the exact numbers, but for nothing. 6,000 wasn't it? 6,000. It's like for nothing. It was craziness. And I could see it because I wasn't caught up in the propaganda and the brainwashing. I was actually examining it. I was having a look and going, this doesn't make sense. Anyway, that was my story with war. But that set me off to be quite dubious in a lot of ways about what was happening in Iraq and Iran as well. Because we get told all this stuff on the news, and how much of it is true and how much of it's not true, it's so hard to filter because it's being supported by powers that we don't understand, that we don't know. And so I just see people killing each other for no reason. I mean, the thing that happened where those jets ran into the buildings, at Twin Towers, that was terrible. I saw that live on television. It was terrible. It was just before Satsang. I was holding Satsang, and it was just before Satsang, and it was like, wow, because the second jet had come around. The craziness of the world, you know, the craziness of basically religions, I think. And it's one of the things that's made it difficult for me to support religions, because they don't teach love, they teach war. And when it wasn't the Muslims blowing themselves up to kill people, it was the Christians killing people because they weren't Christians. You know, when we go back a bit in history, like people got really upset with the Germans putting stars on the Jews and executing them. The Catholics were doing that in Rome in the 18th century. It's like, and somehow that's all been forgotten. Religions are terrible things. They turn people against each other. And if you open your eyes, you get to see it all and you go, oh my God, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Such is life. This is the world we live in. You have to accept it. But you don't have to accept it blindly. You can see it. If you really open your eyes, you can see it. But you've got to see it through non-judgmental eyes. You can't afford to take sides. You just have to look. Otherwise, your own prejudice will blind you.
All right.
I don't know how it can stop. I really don't. The only thing that I can think of that can help is raising people's consciousness levels. I don't think anything else can help. And so that's what I endeavour to do, to help people raise their consciousness levels, because I can't see any other answer. Taking sides doesn't work. Whether you take Israel's side and America's side, or you take the Palestinian side, that doesn't work. Only consciousness levels is going to solve the problems of the world, and I'm a little bit dark on that. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think the consciousness levels of the world have been the same for thousands of years. I don't think they've shifted much, just technology and education has. So in talking to you, I've had to be a little bit careful because of your patriotism, which I do understand. There's nothing wrong with loving your country, but there's nothing wrong with loving every country.